Well, interesting topic here. There's 108,410,579. Now, that's the estimated population of the Philippines as of the latest. Now, what are the challenges to population growth? How are we coping with a growing nation? Now, to help us understand all those numbers, we are joined by the Commission on Population Executive Director, Dr. Juan Perez. Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for being with us today. A lot of numbers, 108 million. Can you please make sense of all that numbers? And, in terms of our pace of our population growth, are we growing at the rate where we want to grow?
Well, right now, our population growth rate, we presume between 2015 to 2020, has slowed down to 1.5% per year. It was 1.7% at 2015. So that's a slowing down of our population, and we feel that that shows that we have, for example, the RPRH law, which we started implementing in 2013, with some difficulties though. There was TRO, etc. Despite that, we have seen progress. We have 6-7 million women using family planning methods that are modern and effective. But we feel that we're still not there with regard to the number of women who want family planning services. We determined that by survey that still about a third of married women still need family planning services. Number one, because they're using a wrong method, which is traditional, or they actually have no service at all. So this week, which is Population Development Week, the 27th celebration, we're focusing on Pamilyang Planado Panalo. That means all over the country, we'll be providing caravans of family planning services to women who need the service. It's all voluntary. Okay. People are given information first, and then
it's up to them.
They choose the method that they feel is good for them, will work for them.
Okay, so are we actually overpopulated?
No,
some say we're like overcrowded, but not overpopulated.
You might say that we have problems with the way our population is spatially, in terms of distribution. We have Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and South Luzon, where 1/3 of the population resides. And the rest of the country, you have the other 2/3. However, 2/3 of the economy is here, and 1/3 only for the rest of the population. So there is that imbalance.
Would that also fall under your jurisdiction to try and also, spread the population to just even it out a little bit and maybe allow it to grow at a, more balanced?
Yes, we'd like to see a balanced urban-rural growth. We hope that urban development does not reach the extent where our urban population start to decrease. So that's a balance that we also need to make. That's why it's very important for our regional development centers, councils, to be on top of the situation and to look at projects that actually help people in the rural areas to stay where they are, to improve the opportunities there. The reason people move to Metro Manila is because
that's where everything is.
And that's where poverty is lowest. That's where income is highest. So we need to have a more balanced development all over the country.
Okay, and speaking of programs and trying to balance out, the population, what are the programs in place to help cope with population growth? You mentioned like this week that you're doing all of this information in terms of the family planning. What are the other programs?
Well, we work, number one, on responsible parenthood and family planning. It's our support to the Department of Health in terms of the implementation of the RPRH law. Over the next 4 years, we hope to bring on board 4 million women. That's a big task for us, and the President has given us really a tall order to do that, and we're working hard on that. The second program that we have is on adolescent health and development. And the major issue for us today is the growing number of minors and adolescents actually who give birth every year. It's remained at over 500 for the last 8 years. And this is growth that we've been monitoring ever since we started implementing the RPRH law. I noted that it has really not gone down significantly. The decrease has been 1 to 2% only, but still, for example, in 2017, 538 adolescents gave birth. We have an increasing number in the 10 to 14, very young adolescents.
So young, yeah.
About there's a 50% increase over the last 7 years. So these are numbers that alarm us. You have many families led by minors now, around 1.2 million over the last 7 years. So that is a problem that not only families have to deal with, but communities, local governments, they have to work on how to support, how to provide services for these very young families.
That's right. Well, you have a lot to worry about. So we are celebrating or observing Population and Development Week. So briefly, what are your plans for this week?
For this week, we're going to have regional celebrations. We will have caravans, family planning caravans all over the country. We are also recognizing population workers all over the country who have made significant contributions in the last 3 to 5 years to their community's population development. So we'd like to highlight those things, and it's a 27th year, but I feel we're on the road to success.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being with us today so early and talking about, all those big numbers, 108. And maybe by 2020, our projection would be
15 million.
100.
By 2025.
Okay, by 2025, 115. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was our PopCom Executive Director, Dr. Juan Perez, with us this morning.